All right. Thanks for joining me on the Life Mastery Finding Your North webinar. I'm really excited that you decided to join me. I think it was a wise decision to take the time to watch this. Now, I want to encourage you to implement as many of these strategies as possible as soon as possible. Remember, action is the key to all of this. All right, let's jump into it. All right, finding your north. So what we're going to talk about is finding your north, of course. We're going to use the compass as a powerful symbol. We're going to talk about strategies to help you find your north. We're going to discuss becoming indistractable, writing and reciting, and implementing habits of action. Now, the compass, since the beginning of time, has been a symbol of navigation, and the North Star is a powerful tool, powerful symbol of guidance. So we're going to kind of use the North Star as a metric of where you're headed, and the compass as a representation of your tool of navigation. And symbols are important for understanding concepts and referencing back to them in your head. Identifying your direction. Now, since the beginning of time, people have looked to the stars for direction. Although the stars are just objects consisting mostly of dust, there are a few stars out there that serve as powerful navigation tools. One of the most spectacular being the North Star. It stays fixed in the sky and always appears in the north. This means wherever you are in the world, you can look to the sky and find the North Star and use it as a guide. We hear stories of how early explorers would sail the seas, navigating using the stars, and the North Star was an important part of that navigation, always helping them to navigate to where they're going and finding their way back home. Now, these days, everyone looks to their phones for directions, so you don't look to the stars to find your way to the market. You look at your phone, but the lessons of the North Star can certainly apply on a spiritual level. Now, in our lives, we all face distractions with stresses in work, family, friends, social media, news, random events happening, acts of God, COVID. All right, and it's easy to get lost in all the noise. These distractions make it difficult to navigate, to find your true north. And your north being your goals, your dreams, your passions, the things you love the most in your life.
Law of aimlessness. Unlike animals, with their instinct to guide them past danger, we humans have to rely on our conscious decisions. We do the best we can when it comes to our career paths and handling inevitable setbacks in life. But in the back of our minds, we can sense an overall lack of direction. We're pulled this way and that by our moods and the opinions of others. How we end up in this job, how we end up in this place, this kind of drifting leads to dead ends. Way to avoid such a fate is to develop a sense of discovering and your calling in life, using this knowledge to guide your decisions. We come to know ourselves more deeply, our tastes, our inclinations. We trust ourselves, knowing what battles and detours to avoid. Even moments of doubt, even our failures can have a purpose. They can toughen us up. With this kind of energy and directions, all of our actions have an unstoppable force, as long as we are focused in a direction. Law of aimlessness.
So basically using the compass as navigation and the North Star as our purpose, we can navigate more comfortably through life, more effectively through life. And we just need to take daily action moving in the right direction. This doesn't always mean taking massive action towards your purpose. This means taking minimal action sometimes. Just making sure you're staying on course, not moving off course, moving backwards. falling into complacency and negativity. The things that are moving you forward will keep you positive. Little daily habits, being grateful, lead to confidence. Start to slip back, losing track of your north. Start to make irresponsible decisions, be judgmental of yourself and others, causing you to be distracted. Remember, when you're navigating towards your purpose, these things don't happen overnight. And you need to be patient and you need to persevere, because the difficulties and challenges are part of the journey, are going to help mold you to prepare for serving your purpose better. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe said, "The misery that oppresses you lies not in your profession, but in yourself. What man in the world would not find his situation intolerable if he chooses a craft, an art, a form of life without experiencing an inner calling? Whoever's born with a talent or to a talent must surely find that the most pleasing of occupations. Everything on this earth has its difficult sides. It's only some inner drive, pleasure, love that can help us overcome these obstacles, prepare a path, lift us out of narrow circle which others tread out their anguished, miserable existences." He's saying, what a miserable life it would be to never know what it is to live a calling, to serve your purpose. What a miserable life, a difficult path it is to not have an inner drive or some passion and love to help you overcome obstacles and keep pushing you through on your path. Because everyone else spends their lives anguished and miserable. Some strategies for finding your purpose, okay? Connecting with your inner North Star. Mastery is guided by a sense of destiny, the seed of your uniqueness. We want to reconnect with your inner inclinations and find your niche. The journey here to learn who you are. This is really the basis for life mastery in year one, is discovering who you are and learning more about how to serve your life purpose. Now, the strategies here are to help you guide in the direction of finding your purpose. Your purpose certainly isn't going to come to you overnight. And it could change, it could mold, right? And don't be afraid to be fluid. Connecting with your inner North Star. A definite purpose must be something you create for yourself. No one else can select it for you, and no one else can create it. If it was literally a star, it's your star. You have to birth it into existence. You have to create it. You have to manifest it. You can't just have someone tell you, oh, that's your star. You need to create your star, and you need to put it out to the world. You need to think about the things that are connected to your innermost desires, right? The things that bring you the greatest joy and happiness. And then once you make this decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. You'll start noticing all the wonderful things that are happening to help you stay on track in your north, the things that let you know, the signs that tell you you're on the right path. You'll start to notice these things, and that's the universe conspiring to help you. A great strategy is to return to your origins, connecting with your childhood, your inner child, thinking back to what you wanted to be when you grow up, when you grew up. These things are pure and deep, the things you did out of love and for fun. You could lose yourself doing hours. And for me, I loved playing with my friends, being together with people. I loved building forts, creating infrastructure within our toyland. I loved drawing and creating things. I loved painting. I loved playing baseball and being part of a team. These things are all connected to my heart and my passions. I connected to something deep, deep inside of me. Positive activities I've always liked to help people. I've always liked to facilitate helping in any way I can, lending a helping hand, been dutiful in that way. And so these are things that help me kind of know whether I'm making good decisions for my life, the things that align with me and who I am. You need to find purposeful energy. You need to find and surround yourself with energy and people who are like you and like the things you like, and they like to help and bring you along. We're talking about like mentors, teachers, partners, your wives, your girlfriends, your husbands, your partners, whoever it is. You need to be around people that share energy with you. And practical and pragmatic energy. We want people that get things done. They don't just talk. It's not lip service, but they really are practical about how they go about getting things done. And that's important. We can't be getting together with people and just wasting time. You want people that are going to share energy of purpose. And then you want to try to surround yourself with a diverse group of people. People that know all about different things. Ideally, you'd want to be surrounding yourself with people that are very successful and happy in various forms of life. People that are artists, people that are professionals, people that are service members. You'd want to find people that have purposeful energy that you share, but also are diverse and give you a wide perspective and viewpoints. This will help you have a broader perspective in finding your purpose. Beware of false purpose. Okay? Don't mistake deep connections with you for frivolous desires, pursuits of pleasure. Your purpose is not to get rich. Purpose is not to get a bigger house or to get a new car. Purpose is not to be famous on TikTok famous. Not everything you do should be to post on Facebook. Beware of things like this. There's false causes and fake charities. There's cults that will misguide you. Money and success are not happiness, is not purpose. There are plenty of celebrities and famous people that off themselves because they're not happy. Happiness is not money. Happiness is not owning things and having things. Okay, seeking just attention on Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, on YouTube, seeking attention is not the way you find your purpose. It's going to lead to the opposite. You're going to be unhappy if you don't get that gratification from outside. These are all external gratification. When you're seeking for attention and you're just wanting likes on Facebook or likes on Instagram. And sure, it does feel good, but this is not any indication of success because it will come and go. Cynicism, there's just people out there that just will find a way to complain about everything. Everything that you can think of, they're going to find a way to complain about, and you need to steer away from these people. When you start to spend time focusing on gratitude and focusing forward on things that you're going to accomplish. So when you start meditating and you start having healthy outlets for exercise, you start to become very sensitive to this type of negativity, and you just I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that kind of energy, and I just am moving away from cynicism. I just distance myself from it. So you have to be aware of some of these false purposes. Becoming indistractable. You need to think about what happens when you get off course. Believe it or not, the North Star is not the brightest star in the sky, which is why if you don't concentrate, you can definitely lose track of it, leading you off your path. The same thing holds true to life. If you concentrate all your time and attention towards the things you love and enjoy most, then you're going to be happy. If you find yourself being distracted by things that are grabbing for your attention, it's going to move you away from your direction and your path. You need to avoid distractions. If you want to live the life you want to live, you need to do the things, the right things. But you also have to make sure you do not do regretful things. You can't do the wrong things. You have to avoid things like making good choices, attending the webinar, getting on the live calls, doing the daily exercises, right? Having gratitude. All of these things are great, but you also have to do things or not do things. You have to make sure you don't do things that you're not proud of, that make you feel bad about yourself. You have to do things that are not going to lead you away from your purpose, because they're out there. There are traps, there are pitfalls, there are distractions out there that are going to take you away from your purpose. And you have to make sure you don't do those things. You could use this like a rebellion. Instead of just kind of going along with everything. So all of us have a little bit of a rebel streak. I do. That's why I work for myself. I don't like being told what to do. So that's, you could use this as like, I don't do that. You could use it like to avoid distraction. You go, no, I don't watch TV. I don't do that. You just can kind of rebel against it. Psychologically, you could use that strategy. The distractions are not just simply technology. We need to understand the real reasons we do things against our best interests. And what that means is we're doing things against our best interests out of seeking a relief from pain. We have pain in our life and we're seeking relief. We want to be distracted from the pain. We want to detach from the pain. We want to escape from the discomfort of something that's happening in our life. What it takes, we can be indistractable by understanding ourselves better and how to navigate the world around us. All right, there's triggers inside of us and there's triggers outside that are going to cause us pain. And so if we understand ourselves better and we understand the world around us and what's happening, then we can detach from that. Right? Indistractable is a lot like indestructible. It's like a superpower. It's powerful.
Let's start with what is distraction. I didn't understand the definition when I embarked on this research. So I think it's really important to understand what we mean by this term. The best way to understand what distraction is to understand what distraction is not. So if you ask most people, what is the opposite of distraction? They'll tell you it's focus. But that's not exactly true. The opposite of distraction, if you look at the origin of the word, the opposite of distraction is traction. That both words come from the same Latin root, trahare, which means to pull. And you'll notice they both end in the same 6 letters, A-C-T-I-O-N. That spells action. So traction, by definition, is any action that pulls you towards what you say you're going to do, things that you do with intent, things that move you closer to your values and help you become the kind of person you want to become. Those are acts of traction. The opposite is distraction. Distraction is any action that pulls you away from what you plan to do, anything that is not aligned with your values, that moves you away from becoming the kind of person you want to become. So this isn't just semantics. This is incredibly important because I would argue anything can be traction or distraction.
So that was author Nir Eyal of the book Indistractable, and speaking about traction versus distraction. And there are powerful forces in the world pulling us, as he mentioned. And if we go back to the compass as a symbol, Albert Einstein, when he was a child, had a compass, and he was absolutely fascinated with the idea that there was a force that was pulling at the needle that no one could see. No one could see the force. It was this invisible force pulling at us, pulling you, the navigation tool, pulling you in a different direction. Isn't that interesting? That there are forces out there pulling at you, pulling you in different directions, pulling you this way or that way that you can't see. So those forces are either going to distract you or they'll help pull you in the right direction of traction. Here's a simple chart from Nir Eyal about when to find if something is good for you or not so good for you, because things that maybe have your attention aren't necessarily good for you. So if you ask yourself, is something a problem? You look to the left, is it harmful to me? Yes or no? And then ask, can I stop using it? Yes or no? Obviously, we want to be in the good side of things. Next thing we need to do to make sure that we secure our North Star, connect with our inner North Star, and start navigating towards it, is write and recite.
I'm going to make you a promise. If you will decide definitely what you want most during your entire lifetime and write it down on paper so that I can read it, I will give you the master key with which you may open the door to the attainment of your desires, whatever they may be. The exact moment when I will deliver this master key to you will depend entirely upon when you are ready to receive it.
Now, this is author Napoleon Hill. He's written books like Think and Go Rich or The Laws of Success. And I just love this. Let's listen to that one more time, okay? Listen carefully to what he's saying.
I'm going to make you a promise. If you will decide definitely what you want most during your entire lifetime and write it down on paper so that I can read it, I will give you the master key with which you may open the door to the attainment of your desires, whatever they may be. The exact moment when I will deliver this master key to you will depend entirely upon when you are ready to receive it.
So Napoleon Hill is saying, number one, if you will think most about what you desire, what you want most in this world. Number two, you write it down. Number three, you can now have the master key to unlock achieving whatever you want in the world. So number one, you have to define your definite purpose. Number two, write it down. Number three, this will give you access to the things that you want. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. So we conceive them, we think about our purpose, what do we want? And then we write it down, we start to think about it so that we can believe it. And then our mind can achieve it. So we need to write down your single definite purpose. You need to pull out a notebook and you need to write something down. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be something in a direction, right? We need to take action. You can think about it, you can change it, but you need to start taking some action. Now, we're not done there. Of course, if you want to get something, we need balance. You need to be willing to give something. So you need to think about also what you intend to give, what you're willing to give to achieve your definite purpose, to help you live your definite purpose. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to change and not have a part of your life as a part of moving in the direction of achieving your definite purpose? And what kind of work is it going to take? This isn't magic. There are some very powerful unseen forces that do come into play when you start to put these things out to the world, when you start to take action and write things down and verbalize them. But what kind of work is it going to take? That's the best kind of work, is the kind you can do. Now you need to write down what you intend to give, what kind of work you're willing to do. Now you're coming up with a definite plan. If you spend too much time thinking about things, you'll never get it done. Make at least one definite move daily toward your goal, famously said by Bruce Lee. This means it's easy to get paralyzed by planning. It's easy to get paralyzed with getting everything in order, but really the most important thing is just taking action, just staying on the positive side, moving north a little bit. You can't start slipping into inaction. Remember, inaction is distraction, right? You need to move in action. Habits for success. You need to steer your ship. You need to take action. Making a plan and waiting for it to materialize through outside forces is not enough. Like I mentioned, there are some powerful forces that when you start to write these things down and put it out to the world and meditate and visualize, pray about these things, there are some things that can go, but it's not enough. You need to make habits of doing things to move your plan along, right? This is the most powerful force out there, is you taking massive action. You can leave nothing left to luck or chance. So to review on finding your purpose, finding your north, right? You need to consider that finding your north is the baseline, the basic step in moving in a path of success. It's the minimum step and the basis for everything we're going to do from here. You need to establish your direction and which way you want to go. Right? Then you start to strategize and plot your course. You start to think about you know, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. You start to write down and recite. Start to put it out to the world. Then you start to navigate. You start to make sure that you're taking action. You're staying on course. You're focusing on the north. You're staying grateful. You're taking little bits of habits of action, right? And then finally steering the ship. You need to be on it. You can't wait for things to happen. You can leave nothing left to chance. You need to be the one navigating your ship. You're on your course. You're on your path, and so you need to make the decision to steer your ship. Otherwise, you're just wandering, right? And these seems possibly like simple ideas, but this is the foundation for everything we do. That finding that definite purpose. And we're going to talk more about it, expand more on these ideas throughout the upcoming weeks. But you need to make sure that you are establishing what your definite purpose is. You need to write it down, and you need to take action to make sure that you're staying on course. That's been the webinar on finding your north. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this. You need to remember that the journey of finding your north is yours and yours alone. No one can tell you which direction you need to go. No one knows which star is your north. Only you can determine that. So make sure that you sit and think deeply about who you are and what you want to accomplish. Start to establish your single definite purpose. You're finding your north. And use the compass to stay on course and navigate. You know, remember that we just need to have little habits daily. All right. Thank you for taking the time once again. And I applaud you for being here and putting the effort in. All right. Thanks, especially if you stuck around to the end. All my best. See you on the next one.